The March 23rd, 2026 meeting of the Huron City Schools Board of Education. Mr. Lamberius, would you call the roll?
Mrs. Henners?
Here.
Mr. Hammond?
Yes.
Mr. Merkins?
Present.
Mr. Rager?
Here.
Mrs. Hartley?
Here. If you don't mind, stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 2 is approval of the agenda for our regular meeting tonight.
I'll make one. I'll second.
Mr. Merkins?
Yes.
Mr. Rager?
Yes.
Mrs. Henners?
Yes.
Mr. Hammond?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartley?
Yes. Item number 3 is audience or community comments. Did you have anyone submit? Okay. I know everyone is here for their special presentations, which we cannot wait to hear and celebrate. Okay. Item number 4, administrative reports.
Yeah, so tonight, we're gonna start off with a building presentation from Woodland, so I'll kick it over to Brian and Jess, to share. You're up.
Well, first off, hold your round of applause. No. I first would like to say like how excited I am to stand before everybody that's in the audience and the Board of Education and talk about Woodlands Elementary. And before we jump into all things Woodlands, we do have two special guests with us here tonight. Michael Graybo and Dempsey Treadway are here to talk about their electro-fair project, which, if you had an opportunity to look at them at the very beginning, there are some amazing projects, but this highlights some of the work that our teachers are doing. And I would also like to thank Katie and Matthew and Alex and John for bringing your children up here for, tonight for this special occasion. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Michael. First off, if you want to come up and I can help you bring up your project. He's going to let me use this for chicken nuggets. Yeah, no, I'm joking.
Hi, my name is Michael Grable. I go to Woodlands Elementary, and this is my electro-fair.
So how long did it take you to make this project, Michael?
We started working on it like before we even turned in the permission slip that we were gonna build this, and then we continued to work on it like after the due date since it was already all built. So then we just like fine-tuned it and got to pick up the marble.
I'm sure you did a lot of troubleshooting with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's Science 101 right there.
Yeah.
We had to 3D print, like we 3D printed this piece, and pretty much all the stuff that moves. And then we thought the marble run, that the marble actually goes down. We thought we could just carve it into the foam, but it didn't actually end up working. So we got this tube, we split it in half, and then we used the heat gun to like mold it into the shape that we wanted it to go. So then we had to add like speed bumps in because we couldn't get it to rest down at the bottom. And then down there is just 3D printing filament, just normal filament that like guides the chair in and then holds the marble so that it can like actually be able to pick it up. And then on Tinkercad so it all started out as these pieces, and then some pieces wouldn't work, and it just like completely made it drop the marble basically. So we had to find out like the speed, and then we just added this potentiometer over here like a week or something ago. So, and like this piece was 3D printed because this piece it had like too many bumps, and this was too big of a dip for the chairlift to go down to. So this piece we just added a whole bunch of plates in, and then sometimes it would make it much better, and then sometimes it would just make it 10 times worse. And then at the bottom, it wouldn't at first pick up the marble, so we made that bigger.
Oh,
And then it just continues to roll down. And then it just repeats.
Great job.
great job. Do you guys have any questions you'd like to ask him or anything?
Where'd you get the idea?
I learned how to ski this winter.
Oh, okay.
And then these lights, we just 3D printed. We made these light poles, and then I did not expect the cabin and fire pit, but somehow that worked. So yeah.
If you had to do it all over again, what was maybe one thing that you would do differently at the beginning of the project?
I don't know.
It's okay to say like, nope, it just was a good process, like just to keep making the changes, you test it, make a change, test it, make a change, because there's a lot of learning that happens in
Probably
that.
instead of having to keep reprinting the pieces, I would probably just try to get one piece to stay better.
Okay.
And the hot glue gun, so there's these little screws right here, and I put way too much hot glue and went through like 1,000 tubes, and I kept burning myself. I wondered how hot the hot glue gun was, so I touched it to my skin.
Oh,
And then I thought the screws wouldn't hold for some reason, so I put so much hot glue, and it took a lot of energy to get the hot glue off if we needed to switch a piece.
Well, good stuff there, Michael. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Wonderful.
much. Good job. And then we have one more, Dempsey Treadway.
Okay, great job, Michael.
This is my project. I made a lighthouse because I love going on walks on the pier and seeing the Huron Lighthouse. Coming into this year, I knew a little bit about circuits, but I was glad to learn more. So, the question I wanted to answer was, what is the best way to make a lighthouse light up by using a complete circuit? So, this is my first design idea. It doesn't look exactly like my actual project because we ran into some issues during like cutting the angles for an octagon, and my hypothesis was I predict that I can make a lighthouse light up by using wires, 2 AA batteries, a light bulb, some wood, paint, a battery pack, screws, nails, and tape. So there's a battery pack right here, and that has like this switch on it. And turn it on and off. And so my first design idea, I was thinking that I was just gonna put like a door like in the front, and then you would open that and turn it on from the inside. But we just drilled a hole like right there, and we just ran the wires through that. I thought my project was very fun to make. It took me and my dad only one try, and I also learned how to use a jigsaw. I enjoyed learning about circuits and electricity, and this year, science.
Great job,
thank
great
you,
job.
Dempsey.
Any questions, Danny? I think you did a great job, Dempsey. And I would just like to personally thank Michael and Dempsey for taking time out of your evening tonight. But this is something that the fourth grade does annually, each and every single year. And being my third year at Woodlands, just watching the amount of effort that the teachers, the students, and families put into these projects, it's nothing short but of amazing. So I'm so impressed tonight. But I'm every single day I'm impressed with both you and Michael and all the students. So thank you so much. All right, so getting into Woodlands, here's a picture of the Woodlands staff. Everybody is not pictured in this picture, but most of us are. But I put these words up there: cohesion, creative, driven, encouraging, resourceful, dedicated, upbeat. That's what you feel, that's what you get when you're at Woodlands and you get to walk around and experience our academic environment. And to be honest with you, I feel very lucky and fortunate to work with such an amazing staff and parents and the community. At the beginning of the year, Mrs. Taylor and I created the 5 guiding goals for the 25-26, some pillars, something that keeps us on track and aligned in what we're doing with conversations, meetings, and this our day-to-day approach. So the first one is grow, increase staff efficacy and capacity, belonging, reignite and reinforce school-wide behavior system, respond, sharpening our instructional support team process and strategies, care, clarify and amplify supports for staff, students, and families, and teach. Elevate our Tier 1 academic instruction. And I think tonight, as throughout our presentation, you'll see some of the things that we're doing in the building is directly aligned with that. So, efficacy, student support, parent involvement, data, and guidance. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So, discipline referral. Throughout this entire year, we had almost 370 referrals that have been reported. Some of those are individual, some of those are collaborative. So teachers can go in there individually, put them in. That means maybe they made a phone call, maybe they did something in the classroom. Jess and I do nothing with those. Other reports are collaborative. That comes to us, and it's basically like an app. So when a referral is submitted, we get a ding on our watches. We know what room it is, we know what teacher it is, and we go down there and we start to handle it. So what does this process do? Well, it identifies students, frequent flyer students that might be coming down to the office. What can we do with those? We have conversations. They might be in our IST process, RTI. Also, teacher support. Oh, come on, don't talk to me right now. And then where incidences are occurring, because at the beginning of the year we started instituting Tiger boot camps, and it's how to act at lunch, recess, hallways, bathrooms, classrooms. So if we see an uptick in those, we would institute a boot camp and go in there and refresh, reignite those rules within the building and throughout the building. Student service referrals, that's our licensed social worker, Sandy Shue, and our school counselor, Mrs. Smith. But that is a process to get referring a student, it lets them know, get them down there, and then Mrs. Smith or Mrs. Shue can start to work with that child and go forward. And then the Woodlands Hub, something that we created, it's all things Woodlands. You can go there, all the teachers can access it very quickly. IST approaches, it's a continuum of services. You have your tier core, then you would have our IST, and from IST, if there starts to be more of a need, you would look at like a 504 or an IEP and so on. So since the beginning of the year, we've had 127 meetings on students, whether they're new or reoccurring, but we're taking a look at their plans, figuring out ways that we can work with that child and their families, and ultimately just meeting that child with their needs.
And that could be academic, behavioral, social emotional, speech, OT.
Sources of strength lessons. It's an evidence-based, informed curricula that buildings protect the factors to prevent mental health issues, bullying. Sandy Shue and Aaron Smith do those lessons. Also, Aaron Smith does rocks, ruling our experiences with the girls. Confidence, self-esteem, learning, assertive communication, teamwork, and leadership skills. And last year or the year before, she started Guys with Ties. That's for the boys within the building. And then Community Connection Wraparound. It's a family-centered support that brings together community resources. We have 9 families currently involved in that, and they meet in Woodlands, and we talk about not only what the school can provide for those families, but the community can provide for the families. Parent involvement, we have parent cafes going with Sandy Shoes. Our PTO, our parent-teacher organization, is amazing. If you ever get an opportunity to talk with any of them, just please let them know how much we appreciate what they do for our school. But the book fairs, Glow Run, supporting teachers, conference meals, which are delicious, and Special Persons Day during book fair. Title I, we also had the Kindness Run, Title I night, and family game nights, and then parent-teacher conferences and volunteer opportunities throughout the year. Data opportunities, how are we using data? So we get data from the Ohio State test. You hear on Data Dashboard, STAR, ELA, DIBBLES, K-5 basic early literacy, curriculum-based measures, and attendance and behavior referrals. So we take a look at that data. How are we going to strengthen our Tier 1 supports, in-class supports, small group instruction? What does Julie need, or what does Mrs. Hartley need? And really getting down to what all kids need. And developing and progress monitoring IST. Like if we're doing something with the child in IST, it helps us monitor that child's progress, and if we're actually seeing growth or a stagnant line. And then this data helps drive district leadership teams, building leadership team, and team-based leadership teams. And this is something that we just got this year. It's a dashboard, and this is just kind of like a little snippet of what we can do. Prior years, we would have to go to 5 different websites to get what this one website can do. So we could take 5 years of data, and it'll have all the standards that are on the Ohio State test, and it breaks it down for you. So something that might have taken us hours to do before now literally takes us less than a minute to get it. But then we could sit there and look at what questions that are like the lowest percentage or they've had difficulty on, pull them up, and then have thought-provoking questions like, how is our instruction? What are we doing in our classroom, and what can we change or modify to help our students achieve that standard? But this has been amazing. This year, brand new, our registered behavior technician, Miss Williams. Type 5 reasons our RBT stands for Rays of Bright Togetherness. But she has been a great addition to our team. Team role models. She takes opportunities and works with staff, students to develop good actions, good behaviors. Drives students' independence, helping them become independent and have the tools to be a great student. She coaches and supports staff, champion of respect, and strategic and data-driven. So students will have these check-in, check-out sheets, and then from there, we get these graphs, and we can actually see if they start to come down here, oh, something's going on, we might need to adjust, do something different in the classroom. But as you can see, as they go up, this kid is starting to meet his benchmark and his goals with this. So she's been a great addition to the team. And then PBIF.
So at the end of last year, we got a team together and we looked at redoing our matrix. Since we came together, Shawnee and Woodlands, we hadn't really revamped it. So coming together and looking at aligning what we were saying to students, you know, that's a big gap from kindergarten to 5th grade of, you know, what comes out of a teacher's mouth to correct a student is very different. So just kind of aligning what we were saying. We created the Woodlands Pledge, which is here with these students standing next to it. And at the beginning of the year, the kids actually all signed to follow that pledge, and it's hanging near all the doors in all the classrooms. We have pause acknowledgements. These are things that anyone in the building can fill out, from a cafeteria worker to a teacher to an educational aide, and they get read on the announcements. They come down and they just get a handshake. It's just an acknowledgement, and then that goes home with the student. We instituted our Pause for Pause. We go over a new strategy, review our strategies on announcements all the time,
But in each classroom, they were strategically taught. They're displays for students to take a pause when they need it. Every student at some point is going to meet that point of frustration, and one of the favorite ones that they have is a hand reset. So the students actually, you just put your hands on the table, push down for 5 seconds, and then release it, kind of let the tension out of your shoulders. So I would say that one's the student's favorite. We also are doing actual PBIS and lessons, and they kind of go hand in hand with our sources of strength. Like Brian talked about, we have our boot camp we did at the beginning of the year, and then it can be it's actually scripted, so we can redo it, pick it back up when needed in specific areas. We ran every single student through the cafeteria, how to come in, how to go out to recess, how to line up. We practiced, going to dismissal in individual classes. We did a replay of that when we came back from break and did these flags. The students all had red or green flags, and we put scenarios up, and they got to pick whether it was a red or green flag. Coming soon, we're going to do a review of what it looks like to be out in the community as a Woodlands representative, as the students are starting to go on many field trips towards the end of the year. So what does that look like when you're out and about? We have our building leadership team, which is kind of pushing that for our PBIS. So our goal this year was just to strengthen that tier 1, like I said, to make sure we have that strong foundation. As we move into next year, we'll start to look at increasing opportunities for mentoring and relationship building. I think we have a special opportunity having the 5th grade and the 4th grade to mentor those younger students. And so how do we leverage those opportunities? Our building leadership team is also focused on writing, so we actually looked at that data dashboard and decided where the data was pointing to a need for alignment throughout the building. We also have the opportunity to say, okay, we know what kindergarten is doing in our building, and how does that connect to what our 4th and 5th graders are doing when they meet those writing assessments and have to do a 3 to 5 paragraph essay? How does that align all the way down to when they start writing and basic handwriting down at the lower levels? So coming soon, we're going to be looking at sending the teachers into each other's classrooms. That was their idea, so they want to go see writing lessons and what they can learn from their peers.
And I speak for all of us, but thank you all for your volunteerism, being a part of our great community, and just like the active role you play in it. Just thank you so much. Do you guys have any questions for either Jess or I?
I have a comment. I think what you're doing is amazing, very comprehensive. A lot more to absorb than I could in one night, but I do appreciate what you're doing. I'm a big advocate for having a solid foundation for education. What you're doing is even beyond education and developing the child to prepare for the time when they're going to go to the next level. I think that's fundamental in what we need to do as an education system. But thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. That dashboard, is it coming from the state, or where is it coming from? Is it a district dashboard?
It's from an educational service center.
Okay.
I don't know, it's a long name.
It's the Educational Service Center out of Independence, so
Oh, okay.
Northeast Ohio, yeah.
Yeah, and it's been, like, you, not only data on there for that, but also absenteeism and everything like that. So going into next year, we're gonna be using that to identify some students that we could start doing stuff with right away at the beginning of the year.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you. We had some tough acts to follow there,
Yes,
but
but we have one more.
we have one more.
So Mr. Ayers reached out to me after the end of the winter season to share the success of all of our sports teams, but one in particular tonight. So I kick it over to Mr.
Yeah,
Ayers.
thanks for having us. Obviously, this is pretty, you guys can tell me. This is a pretty cool opportunity to recognize this SBC Bay 8th grade championship. This is pretty cool. From someone who was at the game, that game was fiery. It was fun to watch. I think to win a championship, you got to have a little bit of moxie, a little bit of intensity. And I think, especially playing a top-seeded team, Willard was undefeated in conference. They also, were big. I mean, I'm watching these boys warm up, and I'm looking down, dang, are they 8th graders actually? I'm kind of wondering myself. So, but you guys came out, and this team came out, and they just played. I mean, they played with heart, they played with intensity, and I think to win a game, you have to have intensity and, obviously some moxie, but you gotta hit some big shots here. I think Landon Jones, what's this little celebration dance? I think yeah, something like that. And then you gotta play some good defense, right? This guy right here, big guy right here, played really good defense. Steven West has a couple steals that lead to layups. I mean, I don't think you guys trailed, and I think you started off the game on an 8-0 run, which was pretty awesome. So me on the bench, I'm sitting with Coach Miller and Coach Hotz, and I'm even jumping up. I'm like, let's go! I'm excited. So it was really cool. I know Coach Miller's ready to coach these guys. I know he's ready to get his hands on these guys and have them within the program at the high school level. But it's also a tremendous achievement that reflects not only the hard work these guys put in, but the leadership from our two coaches here, Coach Miller and Coach Hotz. But at this time, I'd like to invite Coach Miller up here. He's going to share a few words about his team and go from there.
First of all, I just want to say this is a really cool idea. We're excited to be standing here presenting to you guys. This group, I told Coach Hotz, this is truly something that she needs to write down and create a storybook or a book or a tell-all or something about this. So Mr. Eggers kind of talked about the climax of the story. I'm going to go way back to the beginning of the story. So I am sitting in my classroom on October 21st, and basketball starts November 1st. And we don't have an 8th grade basketball coach. I had reached out to 21 different candidates over the summer trying to get the position filled. And I've tried high school circles, AAU basketball circles, some of the connections I still had from my time at Heidelberg. Could not get anybody that had a desire to coach 8th grade basketball. And as you know, coaches are becoming extremely difficult to find, especially somebody that you would trust to bring into your program to lead a group of young men. So I knew Coach Hotz from Biddy basketball. I knew her from coaching at the high school. And I sent her a text about, would you be interested in coaching 8th grade basketball? And she laughed at me. She thought I was joking. I worked on her a little bit over the course of a few days. And, she reluctantly agreed to take the position on one condition. And that condition was that I come down to practice and help out once a week. I was like, okay, I got married in June. I've been married 4 months. It's going to be the shortest marriage in the history of mankind when I go from varsity practice to middle school practice. But we agreed to it. We made the deal. And she really deserves her flowers because she took it to the next level. She reached out to other coaches and other basketball minds within our school system, outside of the school system, and just really, really became invested in this program. But aside from her really stepping up, these boys, I have nothing but great things to say about them. I see them every day. I teach them in 8th grade. And that once-a-week practice really allowed me to get even closer to the boys. And this group, and you can kind of see it right now, the one thing that jumps out to them is they're extremely coachable. And you can see every one of them is making eye contact with me right now. And that's one thing that we're really big on, is making eye contact with each other, because information processing research says you encode information better when you have a meaningful memory with it. If you make eye contact with someone, it's easier to create that memory. You should see how well these guys were able to implement everything that myself and Coach Hotz tried to teach them. They looked us in the eye. They went out, and maybe it wasn't super smooth right away, but dang it, they were trying. They were trying their best. These guys they really bought it. We had countless discussions between classes, in study halls about basketball. They were just so excited about it. And a lot of coaches say they have teams that play hard and play the right way. Well, this group actually does it. That's not just coach speak. They play hard and they play the right way. They ultimately got a very meaningful memory at the end of this run, and I don't want to take away from Coach Hotz's thunder, because she is going to detail that a little bit for you. But I'm very thankful that this special season happened within our program. I'm excited for the future. And without further ado, Coach Hotz, you can come on up. Stand behind me.
Well, I really just want to reiterate a lot of the thank yous. This is a really great idea to celebrate a success like this, so thank you for taking the time out to do that. Gotta say thank you to everyone that makes the school happen and these opportunities as well. Custodians, principals, athletic directors, teachers, school board. So we appreciate that we get to do these things and know that it's a privilege to get to play basketball and do all of these extra things and even get an education. I guess I have to say the only thing I'll take credit for is that I knew when to ask for help, which was pretty much every single day. I wonder how many text messages we exchanged. Very patiently answered all of my questions and helped me figure out what we were doing. I also had other help. I'm trying to decide if I should, well, I guess I might as well go there now. I think we all know that these boys, 13, 14-year-olds, they like to be boys, okay, just to put it nicely. And so a lot of what we had to do and a lot of the growth that we made was in our leadership. And so we had a lot of talks about that, and we came a long way, and I knew when to reach out for help on that too. And I said, why not a legend? Retired coach, author of 2 books, and so I reached out to Tony Legando, who was nice enough to get Jim's Pizza Box opened up. So also thank you to Jim's Pizza Box for opening especially for us. He made it really special. He talked to you guys about leadership, and I hope that you remember that moving forward. He had some really good things to say, and I think you guys really took that to heart. Coach Adams, Matt Adams came and coached the practices as well. Mr. Ayers was very instrumental in a lot of the things too. I was really needy. I think we're getting that, yeah. So, and even all the way to the end of the season, we had a new offense, a new defense. We were ready to go. Nobody had seen it. We knew what we were doing. So, and that was all Coach Miller and coming to our practice and taking the time to do that. So, but I also have to, of course, thank the boys. Let's be honest, this was a very unusual situation. Like, female volleyball coach is going to coach you guys, and you guys could have taken that in a lot of different ways, and you guys were nothing but respectful. And it's a good lesson in, hey, maybe it's an unusual situation, but what can I get out of it? Let me get something out of this. And you guys figured out that you could do that, and that is very impressive quality. So that's excellent. And I want to praise you guys because, I mean, it was incredible what you guys did. I mean, it's also no secret. I wish we had Willard standing behind them to see the difference in size. And also, you guys had never beaten them. Is that correct? From 4th grade to the very last 8th grade game, we had never beaten them. So it was a really amazing feat. And we were 9-7. It wasn't an easy road at all. We bought into the idea that you have to be in love with the process, which isn't always enjoyable. It's hard work. There's ups and downs. There's wins and losses. There's good days and bad days. But when you invest in the process and you love the process, then that championship is the byproduct of all of your hard work. And I'm telling you, if you were on a walk in the woods and a bear jumped in front of you, you would want one of these guys with you. Okay, they're going to take care of it. They are brave, courageous. They don't back down. They're loyal, and they don't care who's on the other side. So they have a really bright future, and I was really lucky to get to coach you guys. I've coached for 26 years, and this was one of the most enjoyable seasons I've ever had. So thank you for talking me into it. So congratulations. Yeah. You guys really deserve it. You did a great job. So
There you go.
Congratulations.
Proud of you guys.
you guys have anything to say?
No. Well, I can tell you one thing. Success starts with effort. Don't lose that going forward. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. These types of successes only start when you put in the effort to see those results. So keep that in mind as you go into the next level, because it'll be even harder once you get to high school. But I'm really proud of your success. It's a good story. It tells me a lot about the character of each of you. And thank you all for how well you performed this year. And thank you, coaches. It's great. I'm glad you're here.
Coach Hutz, don't sell yourself short. Good leadership does not mean you are the only person that has all the answers. A good leader surrounds themselves and knows when to reach out to others and build a whole collaborative team. So whether you're working with your players, you're working with the coaches, with the AD, the families that are all here, like that's what it takes, you know? You don't sell yourself short. That is excellent leadership, so thank you. Thanks for being a model.
Yeah, I was going to pipe in on that because this isn't your first basketball team. My daughter Lucy had a chance to play for Stephanie a few years ago, and I will say, like, aside from consistently knowing their coach cares about them every day that they play, which is like huge, especially junior high, because they challenge you, right? Like, if you're a parent, she's the most organized coach that you can have. Like, you know exactly where your kid needs to be and when, and that is like no small thing in the world of parenting kids playing sports. It's so appreciated. So thank you for saying yes to this, and I hope you say yes to other adventures in the future, because you make a huge difference with our student athletes. And you guys look good. You look good. You might be the best dressed team that's ever come in here.
I have to say, this was their idea. I said, what do you want to wear on game day? And they said shirt and tie.
Yeah.
So I actually think side success, they all know how to tie a tie.
Wow.
You guys look sharp.
Right? Isn't that right?
Nice. Nice. Way to represent.
And I think we're going to see you guys back here.
Yeah,
Future
we
years.
can't wait to see what you guys do. Can't wait to follow you. Preschool. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, board, before we continue on with the admin reports, I just want to invite everyone that's here tonight. I'm gonna ask that we take a brief recess. There's some refreshments, cookies and juice. Enjoy that, and then 10 minutes, we'll get back to our meeting.
Okay.
All right? You go switch your juice.
10 minutes. 7:37.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's crazy. Resets with my icon. On my watch.
I have to shuffle the field for tomorrow. face, I couldn't tell what kind of face it was, and where did it go to? We're like, I was like, somebody's name on there? Like, what's happening? Oh, God.
Wednesday, anyone else?
Yeah, I've got 9 o'clock, but it's downtown, so I'm looking forward to you guys there.
It's not even 4 years.
Yeah. I'll bring stuff in case. ESC superintendent.
People angry at me when they're take a shirt off. Good. How are you, Chris?
Cover it well.
Really good cookies. Okay, all right.
It's a bit equal. You're in between Grant and Mike.
If you're there, I'll bring my passport and whatever.
That's where you go, right?
It's cool to see when you're close to other grades, like second or something. All those are they're all just a
Yeah, seriously.
I think that was sixth grade. They were like, yeah, and then just got it.
Now, you just audience only.
Everybody too.
All right.
I can't believe no one stayed.
I don't know what happened. I mean, the meeting's only just getting started.
Sugar them up, kick them out the door. Nice job.
All right,
Thanks,
we're ready.
James. I really like the fact that the kids are here and the parents will be here, and it's very positive.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
And Stacy, you're right, it's a team effort, so I just asked those two guys, hey, can you present? And they pulled it off. I gave them very little
That's
direction,
great.
so it was
No,
great.
that's
Awesome.
All right, we ready?
We're ready.
All right, let's continue.
You're up.
Okay, so tonight with me I have Mr. Paul Murray. If you don't know him, he's a sophomore at the high school currently, and he's interested in taking over my role as student board liaison, so I thought I'd bring him along tonight to introduce him to you guys and, you know, kind of get the feel for it.
Who's your parents?
Jim and Anna Marie.
Oh, I know your dad. Good guy.
So yeah, if you have any questions for Paul, I'd love you to answer, but I don't want to put him on the spot with anything.
Thanks for your interest, Paul. Thanks for being here tonight with us.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully we don't scare you off.
So, obviously this weekend, the musical happened for the high school. I heard it was fantastic. All I heard was great things from it. So I'm
Kids did a
happy to
great
hear
job.
that. Good, I'm really happy. I wasn't able to make it sadly this year, but I just heard nothing but great things, so it's always good to hear. A few weeks ago, we also had, student council put on the spring dance. People that were there had a lot of fun. Nothing but great things. You know, the funniest thing is we got a new DJ, and he had so much fun. Like he was interacting with everybody, so everyone enjoyed him, which was nice. And then the only other thing is we are on our last 9 weeks of school, so it's kind of a big step. So it's kind of getting close to the end for sure.
That's senioritis.
Can't let it. Yeah, that is all I have for you guys.
Thank you, Grant.
Grant, will you be attending any more of these, or is this your last meeting?
I'll be attending 2 more.
2 more, okay, good.
Any other questions for Grant? Okay.
And then, the agenda has error. Last year Julie wasn't able to attend, so it didn't carry through with his agenda. So if we can add Julie before then.
Of course.
Thanks.
And I apologize, I didn't catch it till I saw the printed copy, so I apologize. But when I looked at your seats, I kind of realized and thinking back, you know, to Thursday night's conversation and our Monday reports, sometimes I talk in alphabet soup, trying to get better at that, but talking about what we're doing for our one plan and our one needs assessment. So what you have in front of you is our outgoing one plan, and this is a product. We first conduct a one needs assessment. So this was actually for fiscal year 24 through 26, so it covers 3 years now. It used to be in a CCIP and our comprehensive improvement plan. That still exists in some form, but they've shifted over to this format. And I apologize, it doesn't print out real friendly, but what each of the buildings and then as a district, what we do is we do the one needs assessment. And so basically, through all the data sources, the state tells us we have to answer all these questions to get down to root causes of issues that the data is a result of, by way of what we can do as adults to fix it, what's within our control. So it has to be things that the district is able to touch and do, for example. So, and you saw some of that tonight in Brian's presentation, which I got way excited about because that data dashboard is like my ultimate favorite thing, because over the last 20 years, we've done that all by hand through different screens and portals and things where we weren't actually having instructional change conversations, assessment conversations. We were data rich trying to figure it all out. So when James got the email for this product, I was intrigued, and now I'm like, please don't ever take it away from me because it's been amazing. And you saw how Brian's using that development up then through the high school. We're also tracking graduation readiness and all the things that is now tracked for a child to graduate. Simply not collecting credits and showing up every day. It's all the things, right? So fabulous. It's my favorite. So what you have here, you'll see a synopsis of the root cause analysis that carries over. Our goals that we engage are attendance, literacy, and math. And when we think back 3 years ago, the state was looking at attendance from that chronic absentee lens, House Bill 410, all the things. And you fast forward to planning out fiscal year 27 through 29, this was a big driving force. So we've actually reduced our chronic absentee rate by a double-digit number across all the buildings. We hovered about 13% right now, and that was not that in fiscal year '24. It was much higher. Just the acts of pairing with the Browns, being intentional about, what do you lose if you don't come to school? If the stats aren't good, 10%, 18 days, 2 days a month, and how much we lose, and informing parents what that looks like. The state has even come in the last 3 years to say, for next year, how we count attendance is also going to look different. You used to have unexcused and excused towards hours, all lumped together next year. So people aren't happy when they get the letters when we need you to come to school, but we need you to come to school. So then the second goal you'll see is literacy, and then of course the third is math. So again, with the work Brian showed you, that improvement cycle of the teacher-based teams to the building level teams to the district level teams. We had our second district level team meeting back in February. We talked about. I snuck in and was just a fly on the wall on Brian's building level team where they're talking the writing rubrics and that alignment. What language are we learning? How much is a student expected to write at the end of kindergarten versus beginning of third grade when they take the fall reading assessment? They're already having to write with a keyboard. So the jumps that the students have to make, not only learning how to read, learning how to write, learning how to properly use a computer, and all the things, but then also all the way up through 5th grade, and we'll continue that work up. But they're doing an amazing job, and we're capturing all that adult stuff in these documents. So Friday, yeah, I think it was Friday, we got, well, no, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, Friday. I keep thinking Friday because we had a call for clarification. So we received notification from the state that we had to redo some of our work because of some of the labeling that has come out of the last series of test scores. So I'm working with Mark and Tim on what that looks like in their one plans, because we have to put in specific action steps according to the state for literacy and math for subgroups. So we're even all the way down to different subgroups in different buildings looking at that level of data. So it's a great conversation, but beyond the conversation is the actions that people are undertaking to do things better. I will tell you, we are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but getting everybody on the same page and moving forward. And then we can have a conversation with Mike about resources. Everybody understands then also too, why are we putting funds towards this resource and not this resource? Well, this resource is nice, the return on investment isn't what we're getting out over here, aka the dashboard is my new favorite friend. So we're moving in the right direction, and we'll keep plugging away at it.
Great. Any questions for Dr. McDonald? Thank you. Mike, there's Mr. Lumberios.
All right. All the financial documents are as of February 28th, so we're 8 months through the fiscal year. Right now, we're looking at, for the yearly totals, we're around 50% on revenues and 50% on expenditures. We'll have a third payroll coming up in May and things like that, so I think some of this will start to even out. We did get our first half tax settlement in March. In the past, if you went back and looked, because I'm sure you did, we were getting it in February, because I requested the tax advance. They told me that they were having delays in collecting, so that I could do it in advance, but it wasn't going to be much. Anyways, long story short, it fell in March. Last year we seen like half and half, February and March. Item B is the certificate of estimated resources. This comes from the county auditor. It lists the anticipated funds and millage that are going to be collected. There was, only thing that was reduced is they put in the rollback amounts, or they took out the rollback amounts from what the county commissioners did. And there's a breakdown in that packet in there for you if you wanted to take a look. Some updates, James, Jude, and I, we went to the Tax Incentive Review Council meeting last Wednesday, and I had sent you the minutes in the agenda from last year. A couple updates. It looks like the ConAgra TIF is set to be decided if the project will move forward by August, so we'll know more on that. And then they also recommended to end the Central Ohio Paper and Packaging TIF. It's not a very large one, but we met with the city and they said that they do plan to end that. So that's another update on that. This Friday is that special board meeting. 7:15 a.m. We have 3 properties that were challenging. There was an error in mailing out letters. So one of the 3 got mailed out and the other 2 didn't. We could have approved the one tonight, and I said, well, if we're gonna do all 3, let's just move it. We'll do it on Friday. Letters went out, so there is a chance they show up to address the board on why we shouldn't do that. I doubt it. It could happen. It should theoretically be a pretty quick meeting though. So, and if you look at any of that and you have any questions, let me know beforehand. We have our meeting with the Budget Commission this Wednesday at 10 a.m. If I know Jude's planning on attending, we can have 2 of you if you'd like. Chris said he doesn't know if he can make it. But in the email, they said they'd like to discuss recent legislation concerning schools with us. So we'll see what they say. We'll go to that meeting on Wednesday, and I'll keep you updated on what is talked about. And I believe that's all I have for you, unless any of you have any questions.
Any idea which of the 200 pieces of pending legislation they'll be
No,
covering
and
on
you know,
Wednesday?
every day I get on, ASBO will send out the legislative tracker, and it just seems like there's always another one that you're tracking. There's hundreds of them, and we'll just see which ones fall out, I guess. So.
Well, I know that right now the auditors around the state are working with the Department of Taxation on changes, the Senate Bill 186?
186,
Yeah, and that's the calculation of the 20 mil floor limitation and coming up with some sort of tax credit for second half. So it's been a challenge for auditors around the state determining what that is. So maybe Rick plans to update us at that meeting
Yeah,
to
could
go
be.
over that. That's my guess.
Yeah. Last year when we went, we took like the 5-year forecast, we took the capital improvements plan, and we kind of discussed like, hey, we're doing this transfer, this is what it's for. This year, it sounded like they asked us to bring some of that stuff last year. This year, they're talking about legislation. So we'll see what comes out of it, but that's Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Thank you for that update. Any other questions?
One of the most
Mr.
important
Ramirez?
pieces is this resolution to accept the rates that's
Yeah.
in this document. That's key for us to establish what the millage rate will be for next year's taxes.
Yeah.
So that's critical for us to establish that. It gives us a position going forward. If they do, in fall, decide to roll back taxes, we would have to approve another rates resolution, in my opinion. So,
No questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Look forward to hearing the update at the next meeting.
Yes,
how that
absolutely.
Budget meeting went. All right, Dr. Tabbitt.
Okay. In the consent agenda, there's a few items I'll just run through, see if there's any questions. Second reading of the quarterly policy, so those we looked at last month, and this is the second and approval. Then there's 2 service agreements, one with North Point ESC and the second one with Lorain County ESC. They all specialize in different things, including Northeast Ohio ESC that helped us with those data dashboards. So those are service agreements for next school year, school year 27. Global travel program, so this is coming from the middle school. So with the STEM class and the advanced sciences that we're now offering there, they have interest in like a capstone project or experience where they would travel to Panama and do a STEM-related experiences with the lock systems, with nature, how the locks and the environment infect each other and whatnot. So the first step is now here, this recommendation for the board's approval. And then in April, they have a parent meeting for information. The trip is planned for June of 2027, so a little bit less than 18 months out, but yeah. Ohio School Councils is going to start working on electric purchasing bids, and so with the board's approval tonight, we'll be on that list of districts that are seeking that electric purchasing agreement. 26-27 school year student handbooks, so one for each building, and then the athletics. And then for personnel certified, the recommendation is for our new school counselor. So just a reminder, we had a school counselor leave late June, almost early July. We've had a 3-day-a-week provider helping us cover, but her service is coming to an end, and so this is a replacement, reestablishing that full-time school counselor. And then classified personnel, there's one item for the board to act on. Any questions on the agenda items?
the counselor, would that be for the next school year, or is she starting now?
Next school year,
Next
correct,
year,
yeah.
okay.
So We posted late in June and July, and, you know, the candidate pool just wasn't there. So we posted early, and we got an excellent
Good.
candidate. So we're excited to, pending board approval, we're excited to welcome her into the district. Yep. Any other questions?
The electric, is that what we already use, or is that a change?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, so we already used the OSC. Yep.
It's a consortium to drive
Yeah.
down lower rates for public schools across the state of Ohio.
Yep. Yeah.
I was just making sure it was the same one, not new, yeah.
Not new, right? Yep. So we're basically just committing that we want to continue
Yep, okay. Thank you.
with that, yep. So other items, Grant already talked about the musical and its success. I mean, the singing was great, the acting was great, the costumes were wonderful, and really to me too is the stagecraft, right? So the sets were amazing. You know, when you have to display the wizard, you know, how are you gonna do that? And they had some like smoke and strobe effects that was just phenomenal. And a live dog for the opener, that was cute and cool, and it was very fun. So I'm excited for all the kids that were part of that, on stage or behind stage.
Awesome.
Also, coming up March 31st, at the high school, we're gonna be hosting Rotary, because Rotary has the four-way test speech, where they've invited high school students to compete the four-way test. And as a Rotarian myself, I should know what the four are, but I'm gonna look at Julie. Leadership.
Julie's gonna mind me,
Yeah.
I'm
So-
gonna look at Paul
Is
Murray.
it
Wasn't your
true?
dad led the Rotary, didn't
Yeah,
he?
his dad.
He-
You guys didn't talk about this at home?
They're not coming to mind.
Like, is it true? Is it kind? Is it
Helpful.
And what's
What's
the
the
last
date
one?
again?
Rotary, the four-way
March
test.
31st.
Yeah, but what day?
Oh, sorry, March 31st.
March 31st.
Tuesday. It's at the high school choir room. And it starts at 11:45. We'll have a lunch, and then the students will deliver their speeches. It ends up, the students, there's scholarship awards tied to it. So if you're interested in attending, I think it'd be a great opportunity to see our high schoolers, perform. Just let me know so we have a good lunch count. Yep. All right.
And James, let's note on that, so that's just for the Huron Rotary competition for the Huron students, and then are they competing, like if they win, do they advance to, like a regional
Yeah,
competition?
great question, yes. So this is just for the Huron Rotary, and then the winners get to advance to the district. The hiccup with the district is that competition is during our spring break, so the kids can decide or not, depending on, travel and things like that, so. But yeah. And then the other thing I want to talk about, hopefully in the mail at your residency, you got the mailer. I'm looking at Mr. Rager.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
We got it.
He has
Came
a,
today.
yeah, he has an odd
Yeah.
zip code, so.
But
he's
I'm in the
one-
Sandusky zip code.
Really?
Yep. So he's gonna give me feedback. If he doesn't get it, then we gotta double check the list that our publisher mails it. But, a lot of good highlights in here. Our goal is to do this twice a year, so about this time of year and then again in the fall, because our alumni association led by Mr. Heidegger, he does 2 a year, typically May or early June, and then December time. So 4 touch points for residents or alumni, 2 being from us and 2 being from the alumni association. So, that. And then next, I just want to review, because we're getting into personnel hiring season. We're gearing up for the coming school year. Contractually, the teachers complete an intent process, so that's where they tell us they intend to return. They may tell us they're intending to retire, and then they can also tell us if they'd like to maintain their assignment or go to a different one. So with that information, with working with principals, Julie, Dana, and others, we're working to kind of narrow down what those needs are. First is that currently in kindergarten we have 3 teachers. That's because we have 56 students enrolled in kindergarten this year. Already our enrollment for next year's incoming kindergarten is at 58. So we're hopeful that between now and the start of school, that'll continue to grow back towards our 80 to 90 kids per class. So looking that we're gonna need to restore that 4th kindergarten position. On the flip side, first grade right now is at 4 teachers, and with that small class coming in, they'll be able to still have appropriate class sizes with 3 teachers. So it's going to be an assignment move, and we'll work with the association and the teachers on that, so it's done least disruptively. Second, third grade, they're going to stay at 4. I'm going to jump to 5th grade. 5th grade has 3 teachers this year because of the class size. Right now they're at 67. They will return to that 80 to 90 kids in 5th grade next year. So we'll restore that 4th position at 5th grade. And that teacher right now, she was a 5th grade teacher. She went to 4th grade this year. She wants to go back. So that's opening up a vacancy in 4th grade. And then we have a teacher who's currently teaching in 4th grade who's retiring. So that's 2 vacancies. So we have that posted. We've started the interview process, and I'll get into that in a minute. But that's what those postings are. And then looking at our small class size going into the middle school, and based on numbers of students identified with disabilities, we're going to have the 3rd intervention there's 3 intervention specialists at the middle school now. Next year there will be 2, and that 3rd one will be assigned to Woodlands to help with special ed services in that level. And and then sticking with special ed, we have posted a school psychologist assistant. We've gotten some interest, but not really exactly the background and experiences that we're looking for. So we're working with the association in potentially assigning that in-house with current staff. And the other part that we have is when we start the school year at Woodlands, the special ed teachers with their caseload sizes are already going to be on the above average size. So that gives me pause because typically throughout the school year, especially at this semester and then this second half, you get more students identified, and to hire somebody mid-year is difficult because then it's a different candidate pool, but also they're coming in cold, not knowing kids, not knowing the staff, and everything else. So we're looking at potentially having someone assigned half intervention specialist, half school psych assistant. And so also because of some of the intent forms that were submitted and the 2 4th grade postings and interest in-house for that, we proactively posted for an intervention specialist position because there are some current ones interested in those 4th grade assignments. So that's the other posting. The school council, we've already talked about, it's on the agenda tonight. The other is the school psychologist. So she left us at the end of the school year. School psychologists across the state of Ohio, there's a shortage. So this year we've been making it work with a 3rd-party contractor who delivers services remotely. At first I was like, I don't know how that's going to work. But there have been some hiccups, but we've worked through it. It's kept us compliant. It's probably limited the value add in prevention and early intervention services. So we're excited to have a new school psychologist in person coming in. So we're looking at that. So those are the big ideas of changes, and we're continuing to work through it. But as we identify needs, we're going to post for it because the candidate pool at this time of year is much stronger than it is even in May. Back when I was trying to find a job, there were like tons of candidates, and we're all fighting for the same thing, right? Now it's you got to recruit hard and you got to find the right talent and bring people in. So, any questions about the personnel? All right, and then the last item I just want to share. Just take one, pass it down. Relates to personnel. It's what I call the hiring funnel. So this is something that I brought with me into the district, and I found it helpful to write it out so the administrative team could see it. And really, this is for anyone to have. It's not proprietary. It's not confidential. But really, it starts off with posting, recruiting, bringing a candidate pool so we have a large candidate pool. We review the candidates, and then we begin inviting them to that first round of interview. The first round of interview is a phone interview with me, It's a scripted interview process that I've been certified in, and it really looks at what are the candidates' philosophies, beliefs of education, working with students, parents, staff. And so that's the first step, or the first official round. It's also my first chance to interview the candidates, because ultimately, they're going to continue through the process, but they're going to have to come back, because I'm the one with the responsibility of recommending to the board. And so if they're talking to people and getting excited about someone that I'm not excited about, then that, can cause friction down the line. So then the second round is either in person or remote through an admin round. So typically the building principal and then central office representative, Julie, Dana, are typically the two that get tapped for that. Third round is the committee. The committee is important because these are the people they're coworkers, those that they're gonna work with. Sometimes we have Grant, he served as like a hostess for the assistant principal job.
Yeah.
Yep. And so he was able to give the candidate a tour of the building and then show him to the room. And afterwards, the committee wanted to get his input from the student perspective, so that was good, right? And you were kind of put on the spot because I didn't tell you that you were going to do that. But, and really the focus of the committee, and it's hard when you start this process, it's hard for people to wrap their heads around it. I don't want a ranking, okay? I don't want your number 1, 2, 3, because if we all fall in love with number 1, but then the offer and compensation and other things don't work out, we're all gonna walk away disappointed, right? And even that second choice would figure out at some point they were second choice. So the feedback that I get from committee members or the administrative running that gets from committee members is, for every candidate, what are their strengths and where are they gonna need support? What are their strengths, where they're gonna need support? Now, a really good candidate is gonna have an easy time identifying those strengths and probably a hard time identifying where they're gonna need support. A really weak candidate, it's gonna be like, they smiled, and then here's the list of where they need support. So that kind of naturally settles out. But when you get down to like 2 or 3 candidates, I don't want to know the ranking. I want to know for every single one where they're good and where they need that support. And then there's a final interview back with me, and that's where really then decisions are made. We're doing reference checks along the way, and then recommend comes to the board for employment. So just to review that, and so I don't think I've ever shared this with the board previously, and we got 2 names, so
Thank you.
that's good. Unless there's any questions, that's what I have for tonight.
All right, any questions for Dr. Tapman? Okay, item number 8 is a motion for approval of our consent agenda. Items, all the items listed under sections 5 through 7.
So
A second. Mrs. Henners,
yes.
Mr. Merkins,
Yes.
Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
Mr. Rager,
Yes.
Mrs. Hartley.
Yes. All right, item number 9, superintendent recommendation, Dr. Tapman.
Yeah, so the district novel list, so just a reminder, this started with a parent who had concerns about a book we used. She did the right process. She talked to the teacher, talked to the principal, submitted a complaint to me. I followed policy, kicked it to a review committee. They came out with a recommendation. I followed that recommendation. She appealed it to the level of the board. The board denied her appeal. But during that process, it was identified, hey, this district novel list is kind of outdated. There's some books we're not using anymore. There's some grade level shifts. So Julie undertook leading a committee to review that list, and this is the most up-to-date and accurate list of what we're using in the school, grades 3 through 12, and then the foreign languages. So I don't know if you had any more comment? Nope. We did pull it from the agenda last month, posted on the website, encourage families with comments to submit those through that community comment link. No comments came through. There were 2 articles in the paper about it, so maybe through that and social media, everyone exhausted their comments.
And you also sent it home to parents, didn't you? Send a link through
Yes.
final forms?
Yes.
So it was actively pushed out to all district
Yeah,
families.
so I think all
Okay.
stakeholders have been
Covered it.
made aware, yeah, so.
Agreed.
So I'm just looking for board action on that.
Thank you for taking all those steps.
Yeah.
I think that was important. So,
Yeah, and I thought the process worked well, and I know the parent maybe wasn't satisfied, but it was a good check of what we're doing curriculum-wise and making sure that we're following processes and procedures. Yep.
Thank you all who were involved for doing that. Okay, so we just
So
need a motion.
this list, it shows the grades it should be in, right?
Yeah, correct.
That's-
Yep.
I understood that correctly.
Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the district novel list?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
Mrs. Henners,
Yes.
Mr. Merkins,
Yes.
Mr. Rager,
Yes.
Mrs. Hartley.
Yes. All right, item number 10, board discussion action, quarterly policy first reading.
Yep, so this is the first reading for the first issue of 2026. There's two. One is about misbranded foods and cultivated protein food products. So the beef lobbyists want to make sure that we're serving beef and not live-generated beef. And then the second one is entrance age. So there was a Ohio Revised Code that changed. We used to be, you had to be 5 by September 1st. This now makes that earlier in compliance with the law, first day of kindergarten. So every year, it's going to be a day or two different based on our school calendar. And we go by the first day of school. I know kindergarten does a staggered start. So some districts were discussing like, well, so if they're, the first half of the alphabet, is this their day? I'm like,
Oh my
wow, you guys are making it too complicated. Just the first day of school on our school calendar, you gotta be 5 by then. So that's what those two policies are. Any questions?
And this is the first reading? Will
This is
there
the
be a
first reading.
subsequent
Yep, so
reading?
no action. Next month, we would do a second reading. But discussion, and if we have to make modifications, yes. Yep.
Just on the list of things I never thought I'd be talking about at a school board meeting was cultivated protein food products.
Yeah,
I'm reviewing policy for that, but here we are.
here we are.
Any more questions? Comments?
Is misbranding our food an issue?
No, this, I mean,
This
we
is a
buy through the
standard
consortium,
policy.
through the food, federal lunch, blah, blah, blah. So no, yeah. I guess it's being proactive.
Good, that's good.
Yep,
Okay, first reading, so we'll revisit that next month?
correct.
Right, okay, and that'll be for board action next month. 10B, new business, any new business? All right, item 11A, executive session, we do have two, let's see, let me get my notes. We do have executive session for the investigation of complaints against an employee and conference with the public body's attorney concerning pending court action. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Rager,
Yes.
Mrs. Henners,
Yes.
Mr. Hammond,
Yes.
Mr. Merkins,
Yes.
Mrs. Hartley.
Yes. We do not anticipate any board action afterwards.
Keep it. Thanks, gentlemen. We're into the Tiger Kids. Paul?
I know, I'm not good at this building, this is not mine.
We'll see you next time.
Paul, nice to meet you.
Still being cagey, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, thanks for being here.
You coming here?
So I'll see you Friday. And I'll reach out to Sue, see if she can print out the documents.
I'll bring it up to her tomorrow too.
All right, thank you.
Let her know that that's the plan.
I coached them like a couple of years back, baseball. Oh, yeah. She was able to undo all that learning.
Come on, people, get back in here so we can adjourn. Stacy, Jonathan.
Three?
We do.
Hey.
We have a quorum.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, guys, can you just real quick so we can adjourn? That's okay. All right, need a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Rager?
Yes.
Mr. Hammond?
Yes.
Mrs. Henners? Mr. Merkins?
Aye.
Mrs. Hartley?
Yes. All right, special meeting Friday morning at 7:15.
Anyway, there was like a downside to taking it, potential downside to taking more lessons. So I'd love that they do it now where it's like, it's gonna be ACT